All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give our praises to Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashir Kakadash. The behind ourselves, the person great millstone, Thomas, truth, and rule will. Peace, blessing, and salutation, Akmat there, scattered abroad through four corners of the earth. That serve this truth and true sincerity. To I say Shalom. This is Brandon Bala, come to another video in the spirit. And the top of this video is going to be about he's a proud man, and it's going to be touching on what happened last weekend. Was it last? Yeah, I believe it was last weekend. With the U.S. going over to invade Venezuela. And you see the after effect. After they've done that, you see the mindset and the attitude, of E. For doing that. And also it came out that I think his name was Nate Rothschild, if I'm not mistaken. Said good job, Trump. So that shows you who's really in control, man. Trump, he's just a puppet. He's just the face. But the ones who's really putting strings behind closed doors is the elites. And I heard a press conference that the Elder Menachem put up. It was the Secretary of War and someone else. I can't remember his name, but they had a little press conference, and you just hear in their speech, how proud they are. They talking about how it was a very successful attack and how no other army or nation would be able to do what America was able to do. Just boasting, and what they did, and boasting about what they plan to do later down the road. And the scriptures talk about the pride of these Edomites, man, and we're seeing it. And now they're showing it to the forefront. They're showing the whole world really who they are and how they think and through how they're conducting themselves. So we know all these things are supposed to happen, man, and Esau's pride is going to be his downfall, man, because since he's able, to go into these different countries, we're just not going to be able to always. It's not going to always be able to be like that, man. These nations are going to rise up against America, man. America's going to be fully on its own, because prophecy says so, man. But he is showing how he feels, man, that he can do whatever he wants, and no one can do anything about it. Who's going to check him about it? But soon, America is going to be checked, man. AKA Misery of Babylon the Great is going to be checked, man. So this is Habakkuk 2, and I'm going to start at 4. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. So yet also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire is hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Yeah. Okay, he's a proud, he neither keep at home, he never just strictly worried about what's going on here, in America. He always has to have his hands in somebody else's business or something else going on around the world. That's why they have all these different military camps and bases set up all around the world, man. Because they want to be involved or know what's going on everywhere, because they want to have total control over everything. That's how America conducts themselves, man. And it says, who enlarges his desire is hell and is death. Yeah, because the grave can never be filled, man. The grave is constantly being filled, man. So it says he cannot be satisfied. So he can't be satisfied. Here Esau, the elites, really have everything, man. They are the ones who are in control and have power over everything, man, and they still can't be satisfied. They have the top of the top food, man. They have the best of the best doctors, medicine, best of the best medicine, or anything you can think of. They have it, man. Technology, they have it, but they still can't be satisfied, man, because that's just Eve's nature, man. That's why Yahweh Shai is going to have to intervene, and he is going to intervene so he can put this man down. Because this man is going to continue to do the things he's doing, because he don't never feel like he's going to receive judgment for it. It says, but he gathered unto him all nations, and he went to him all people. Yeah, you going over there to a whole nother nation, bombing their people, man, and you still in their president, And then we know how this goes. They steal their president, and then they saying that they have total control, and they're they're trying to do this for the best benefit of the people of Venezuela, and later down the line, the Venezuelan people are going to be able to pick who they want to be in authority, which is going to end up probably, if they had time, being someone who they want to be in office, because they it's all over that oil. They want control over that oil. And they saying they have total control, but they don't. They're just speaking lies to the media, But if they could do it their way, they would set up somebody in office that they can control, so they can make everything run smoothly moving forward. That's what would really like to happen, but it's not going to happen, because if you that's why you got to look at world news. You can't just look at the news outlets that's here over here in America, because they just lied to you. They're in front of the camera telling you a big fat lie, and that's not what's really going on. And things are going to heat up. It's going to be some clapback for what they just did. So let me grab this. This is Psalms 73:6. It says, "Therefore pride compasses them about as a chain, violence cover them as a garment." Yeah, very prideful, man. It says violence cover them as a garment. Very violent, man. They're trying to say that they were trying to have peace talks, and they wasn't never ever see eye to eye. So the next step was to what? To go behind people, man. And you look at through history, that's what they always rely on. When they dropped the fat man, the little boy, over there on the jobs. They same thing, man. That's how they conduct themselves when they so-called don't get their way, or they done talking. They next thing is we about to come and what? And do and use our blessing. Which He's blessing the sword, man. And the mind they sword is a gun, but also it goes into what? Their war weapons that they have too, man. The nuclear weapons, because the next war that's gonna be fought is gonna be nuclear, man. It's gonna be fought with the nuclear missiles. Yeah, it's gonna be some ground fighting, but the main thing is gonna be those nuclear missiles. That's how it's gonna be fought, because all these other countries have that technology now, man. And you don't have to send your soldiers, you don't have to send people and shed blood. You can just press a button and they'll do all your heavy lifting for you. Why not? So that's where we're leading to, man. So there's gonna be repercussions for that, but because of Esau's pride, because they said, and them doing this, they did it both. So they said they went over there and was like hoping and wanted, basically baiting Venezuela to like fight back. And they wish they would try to fight back, which they did fight back. It came out that a missile was shot at a helicopter, but apparently nothing happened or whatever. But the way that they sent the forces over there, they was like coming over there like trying to strong arm them. Which they set out to do what they wanted to do. They kidnapped, because that's what they did. They kidnapped. They kidnapped their president and his wife. That's what you do. If you're taking somebody against their will, you're kidnapping them. So that's what they did. And they don't think that they're going to be judged for that, man. But they are. These other nations are going to rise up against them, because the vice president, as soon as that happened, she was sworn in and she went to Russia to get help, man. So Venezuela has other allies, man, and something's going to happen later down the line. We just have to wait and see what it's going to be. But this not going to go in America's best interest, man. It's not going to go how they think it's going to go. This is Sirach 10:8. It says, "Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another." Yeah, unrighteous dealings, man. Injuries and riches got by deceit. That's how he has always done things throughout history, man. Unrighteous dealings, man. He's never done things fair. Never had the proper conversations, and came to an agreement. They want things to go their way, and if it don't go their way, then what? Like they say, it's the highway. Well, okay. You don't want to agree to our terms, because it always has to be on their terms. They always have to have the best end of the deal. That's how they always conducted themselves, man. And that's how they've been able to get themselves in power. And ultimately, what? From using the sword, man. But that's not gonna always be their They're not gonna always be able to rely on that as we continue to move forward. As things continue to unravel and unfold, they're gonna realize that they're not the big brother anymore, man. You know, all these other nations are ready. You know, if it has to go there. And like now, they're saying that they're gonna Greenland. You know, talking about they want to buy Greenland. You know, and Denmark saying if they do that, that's gonna be the end of NATO, man. And that's gonna be the end of NATO. That means what? Americans be on their own. And who only sides with America? Israel. So if it's gonna be American Israel versus all the other nations in the world. So who you think is gonna win that fight? We know who's gonna win that fight because the scriptures tell us who's gonna win. You know, ultimately who gets the victory is Yahweh Shai when he returns. He gets the victory. But we know that America is gonna lose. America and Israel, they're going to lose. They're not gonna prevail. So let me grab this. This is Nahum 3:1. It says, "Woe to the bloody city! It is full of lies and robbery. The prey departed not." Yeah. What is that bloody city? That bloody city is referring to this place, man. Because how was America established? You know, off of blood. You know, off of enslaving the Lord's chosen people, who were the Israelites, the Negro, Latino, and Native Americans, and what? And putting us in hardcore bondage and hardcore slavery, and slaying us, man. It's a lot of blood that's been shed in this land, you know? So that's why this is called a bloody city, and it's full of lies. They just tell you what they want to do. They just say whatever they want to say, man. They were saying that over there in Venezuela, that the people, that they was over there cheering because they captured the president, which wasn't true. Because when you look at the other news outlets, the other worldly news outlets, those people that were parading wasn't in Venezuela. So this is how they operate, man. They try to always push their agenda, man. You know, but that's why the scriptures say in Isaiah 25, it says our matter of fact, I'm gonna grab it. 25:7. This is Isaiah 25:7. It says, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. Yeah. America is being revealed, man. That covering cast, that veil that's been upon all nations, the Lord is destroying that. So now everyone can see what America truly is, man, and how they truly conduct themselves. You know, that war that they had over these other nations' eyes, the Lord is removing that, and America is being exposed. And we understand these things happening is a fulfillment of prophecy, and we understand that we're getting closer and closer to the downfall of this place, man. Because this is it. You know, this place will not be back like it once was. You know, they think because it's 2026, so it's 250 years since America's been established. They think that everything's about to go on the up and up, and it's not. And they think with them doing what they did in Venezuela is a sign of everything's about to go on the up and up, and it's not. That's a sign of your downfall, because we understand that, us in this truth, man. We understand what's about to happen. You know, the Lord is playing chess. The Lord is moving these pieces, man. He's controlling all these things. You know, you're performing the Lord's will at the end of the day, and we know the Lord's will is for America, aka Babylon the Great, to be destroyed, man, to be burned up with nuclear fire, as well as a laser beam from the chariots when Yahweh Shai returns, as well as that place over there in Israel. Israel has to be cleansed, man. And how's the Lord gonna cleanse it? With fire. That's what's coming to America and Israel, man. And these elites know what they're doing. They know what they're doing, and they think they're gonna be able to get away scot-free, but they're not. And no matter where they try to escape to, you're gonna get got. The elect, Yahweh Desire would be those men are going to come get you. You're not going to escape from the wrath of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, and you're going to go into captivity. So let me grab this. This is Isaiah 13:4. It says, "The noise of a multitude in the mountains like of a great people." So like it says, like as of a great people. A tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. And that's what's happening right now, man. The Lord is mustering the host of the battle, man. It says the kingdoms of nations gathered together. We all know that the nations gonna be gathered over there in the Middle East, man, the Valley of Yahweh-Shaphat, which means Yahweh's judgment, man. We already know that's where World War III is gonna be fought over at, man. But right now, we're leading up to that. you know, and it's already been happening. You got the Ukraine and Russia war. You got Iran, Palestine, and Israel. Now you got America and Venezuela. There's so much going on around the world, man. And the scriptures talk about this, man. Wars and rumors of wars, but the end is not yet, because we know it's still the things that have to happen. We're in the midst of Jacob's trouble, and that you see tensions is rising with that. That even reach to its height, what it's gonna get to. It's a lot of things happening right now, man. We're in a time of prophecy being fulfilled, and it's a beautiful thing to see, man. So yeah, we're in the beginning stages of World War III, but it's nowhere near to where it's going to be. But we're getting close to it. America got, hey, that Greenland, that's a big move. If they do that and NATO really ends, then hey, it's fair game at that point. So we're gonna see what happens. You know, so but this is all being done by Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna close out. This is Matthew 24, and I'm gonna start at 6. It says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows." Yeah, all these are the beginning of sorrows. So the end is not yet. Yeah, we're going to hear wars and rumors of wars. Things are going to continue to intensify, but the end is not yet, because we know what, the MOTB still has to be made mandatory, and all the nations have to be gathered over there in the Middle East. You know, so we know that, and Jacob's trouble still has to progress more than where it's at right now. It says pestilence, you know, famines, earthquake. Famine ain't really hit where it's gonna hit, because we still had the famine of the lack of bread, lack of food, and also the famine of the word. So it's still a few more prophecies, but the major prophecy that has to take place is the MOTB being made mandatory and World War III, man. Those are the main ones we waiting on. But there's still other small prophecies in between that's gonna be taking place as well. All these things are gonna be happening at once. That's why it's so much going on, man. That's why we have to make sure that we're being on our watch. You know, the Apostle Harcoin this year, the year of apostasy, agents and sellouts. You know, so we got to make sure that we're on point and being on our watch, man. And we see how this year is already started off, and it looks like it ain't about to slow down no time soon, man. So continue to be on our watch, you know. And hey, we gonna see what's gonna happen. So that's pretty much it. Lord, in this video is at a fine. I'm gonna close out by giving our praises to Yahweh, by Shem Yahushai, by Shem Rakakadash.